What if I told you that psychologists discovered something disturbing about toxic relationships? Welcome to Rare Psyche. What you're about to learn will change how you see relationships forever. People with the darkest personality traits, narcissists, psychopaths, manipulators, aren't just attracted to innocent victims, they're attracted to each other. And the most shocking part? When two evil people get together, they're actually more satisfied in their relationships than normal couples. This is the Dark Triad, and this research will change everything you thought you knew about toxic people. The Dark Triad. It sounds like something from a comic book, but it's one of the most researched personality constructs in psychology. Coined in 2002 by psychologists Delroy Paulhus and Kevin Williams, the Dark Triad describes three interconnected personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Together, they form what researchers call socially malevolent character. And here's the disturbing part. Psychopathy costs society $500 billion annually through criminal behavior alone. These aren't just unpleasant people. These are predatory personalities. First, narcissism. This isn't just vanity or loving selfies. Clinical narcissism is characterized by grandiosity, entitlement, superiority, and a complete lack of empathy. But here's what most people don't understand. It's a mask. Research shows narcissists actually have deep insecurity and inadequacy beneath that confident exterior. They need constant validation, constant admiration, constant attention, and they'll manipulate, gaslight, and destroy anyone who threatens their fragile self-image. Studies show narcissists overestimate their intelligence by 24%, believing they're smarter than everyone else. They genuinely see themselves as special beings who can only be understood by other, special people. That's not confidence, that's delusion with a dangerous edge. Second, Machiavellianism. Named after the Renaissance political theorist Niccolò Machiavelli, this trait is pure strategic manipulation. Machiavellians view life as a game where the ends always justify the means. They're calculating, cynical, deceptive, and utterly focused on self-interest. Research shows they lack socio-emotional comprehension and empathy. They literally cannot feel for others. But they're excellent at pretending. Studies reveal Machiavellians have higher non-verbal IQ relative to verbal IQ, meaning they're better at reading body language and manipulating through actions rather than words. They're master chess players, treating people as pawns. Every relationship is transactional. Every interaction is calculated. And they feel zero guilt about using you to get ahead. And finally, psychopathy, the most dangerous of the three. Psychopathy is defined by complete lack of empathy, antisocial behavior, impulsivity, and zero remorse. These aren't always violent criminals. Some clinical psychopaths walk among us in boardrooms, in relationships, in your workplace. Research shows psychopaths are distinguished by low neuroticism, meaning they don't experience anxiety or fear like normal people. They can lie without nervousness, hurt without guilt, destroy without hesitation. Studies reveal psychopaths prefer volatile sexual encounters and undermine romantic connections, viewing relationships as conquests rather than connections. The truly terrifying part? They wear what psychologists call masks of sanity, appearing charming, intelligent, and sincere, while hiding willfully destructive tendencies. You won't see them coming until it's too late. Now here's where it gets disturbing. In 2024, a groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Personality analyzed 205 romantic couples. Researchers measured Dark Triad traits in both partners and their relationship satisfaction. And the results shocked the psychology community. When both partners scored high on narcissism, they reported higher relationship satisfaction than normal couples. Think about that. Two narcissists together are happier than a healthy couple. Why? Because they understand each other's game. A normal person gets exhausted by narcissistic demands, gaslighting, manipulation. But another narcissist? They get it. They speak the same toxic language. The study found that dissimilarity in psychopathy was particularly detrimental to men's satisfaction, meaning psychopathic men need psychopathic partners to feel satisfied. This isn't opposites attract. This is darkness recognizing darkness. So why do Dark Triad people end up together? Research reveals several disturbing reasons. First, normal people leave. Studies show that while Dark Triad individuals can attract partners initially through charm and charisma, healthy people eventually recognize the toxicity and escape. But another dark person? They don't run. They stay because they're playing the same game. Second, mutual exploitation works. When both partners are Machiavellian, they understand the transactional nature. There's no pretense of genuine love, it's a strategic partnership. Research shows they're more satisfied because neither expects empathy or emotional connection they're incapable of providing. Third, they enable each other's worst behavior. One study found Dark Triad couples have significantly higher rates of intimate partner violence, sexual coercion, and cyber dating abuse. They don't just tolerate each other's darkness, they amplify it. It's a toxic feedback loop. But wait, there's a fourth trait researchers recently added: sadism. When you add sadism to the Dark Triad, you get the Dark Tetrad. And this is where it gets truly disturbing. Sadistic individuals derive actual pleasure from causing pain, physical or emotional. They don't just lack empathy, they actively enjoy your suffering. Research shows the Dark Tetrad predicts counterproductive work behaviors, with narcissism showing the strongest link. These are people who will sabotage colleagues, bully subordinates, and destroy careers, and feel good about it. In relationships, sadistic partners are linked to severe abuse, sexual coercion, and intimate partner violence. And when two people with sadistic traits get together, the abuse becomes mutual. A 2024 study showed that in couples where both have Dark Tetrad traits, there's significantly higher domestic violence, with both partners as perpetrators and victims. This isn't just academic theory. The real-world impact is devastating. In 2024, domestic violence incidents in Germany increased by 4%, with 2/3 of victims being women, but a significant portion occurred in relationships where both partners exhibited Dark Triad traits. Research shows Dark Triad individuals are more likely to commit infidelity, experience jealousy, use psychological aggression, and engage in sexual coercion. One study found that 76.7% of self-reported perpetrators of sexual aggression also reported being victims in their relationship. It's a cycle of mutual abuse. In the workplace, Dark Triad individuals cost organizations billions through counterproductive behaviors, theft, sabotage, bullying, harassment, and they're drawn to positions of power where their traits enable them to rise through ruthless tactics. So, how do you spot Dark Triad individuals before you get involved? Research reveals key warning signs. For narcissists, excessive self-promotion, need for constant admiration, inability to handle criticism, gaslighting when challenged, and lack of genuine interest in your life. For Machiavellians, everything feels transactional. They're charming, but you sense calculation. They have a cynical view of humanity. They manipulate through flattery, and they keep you off balance. For psychopaths, superficial charm that feels rehearsed, grandiose stories that seem exaggerated. They mirror your emotions, but don't genuinely feel them. They have a history of short, unstable relationships, and they show zero remorse when they hurt you. The common thread? Studies show all three score extremely low on agreeableness. They're not interested in compromise, empathy, or mutual respect. It's their way or destruction. Brain scans reveal why Dark Triad people are the way they are. A groundbreaking 2024 study using machine learning analyzed brain scans of 201 individuals with Dark Triad traits. Researchers found that narcissism correlates with the reward network, including the thalamus, caudate, and prefrontal regions. Narcissists literally have different reward processing in their brains, explaining their constant need for validation. Machiavellianism correlated with the default mode network, particularly areas associated with strategic thinking and theory of mind, explaining their ability to manipulate. And psychopathy? Reduced activity in empathy centers. Their brains physically process emotions differently. This isn't just bad people, this is neurological difference. But here's the critical point. Having these brain patterns doesn't excuse behavior. It explains it, but doesn't justify it. The question everyone asks, can Dark Triad people change? Research is clear and disturbing. No. Personality disorders are incredibly resistant to treatment. Studies show that narcissists and psychopaths rarely seek therapy, and when they do, they're nearly impossible to treat. Why? Because change requires self-reflection, empathy, and acknowledgement of harm, the very qualities they lack. Machiavellians won't change because they see their manipulation as rational strategy. Narcissists won't change because they genuinely believe they're superior. And psychopaths won't change because they feel no remorse for their actions. One researcher stated bluntly, "It is advisable to avoid forming partnerships with individuals who exhibit any of the Dark Triad traits, particularly psychopathy." The only solution? Recognition and escape. So how do you protect yourself? First, trust your gut. Research shows we often sense manipulation before we consciously recognize it. Second, watch for patterns, not promises. Dark Triad individuals are masters of convincing words, but their behavior patterns always reveal truth. Third, establish boundaries immediately and observe their response. They'll either respect them or attempt to violate them. Fourth, document everything. If you're in a relationship with someone exhibiting these traits, you'll need evidence when they gaslight you. Fifth, build external support systems they can't isolate you from. And finally, understand the statistics. People who score high on Dark Triad traits are significantly more likely to engage in infidelity, abuse, and psychological harm. This isn't paranoia. This is protection, based on decades of research. Understanding the Dark Triad isn't about labeling everyone as evil. It's about recognizing predatory patterns that cause real harm. Studies estimate that 1 to 4% of the population exhibits significant Dark Triad traits. That might seem small, but in a world of 8 billion people, that's 80 to 320 million individuals with these personalities. And research shows they're disproportionately drawn to positions of power, politics, business leadership, entertainment. They're not hiding in shadows, they're often in the spotlight. The recognition of Dark Triad traits helps explain systemic problems. Why do toxic leaders rise? Why do abusive relationships persist? Why does workplace bullying continue despite policies? Because people with these traits actively seek power and lack the moral restraints that stop most people from ruthless behavior. This is why awareness matters. This is why research matters. This is why your safety matters. So, let's return to where we started. Why are Dark Triad people attracted to each other? Because darkness recognizes darkness.
Because exploitation works when both partners expect it.
Because they don't have the empathy to be exhausted by each other's toxicity. Research has proven it. When evil attracts evil, they're more satisfied than normal couples could ever be in a toxic relationship. But here's what matters for you. Recognition is power. Understanding the Dark Triad gives you the ability to identify these patterns, protect yourself, and escape before you become another casualty. These aren't just difficult people. These are predatory personalities with neurological differences that make empathy nearly impossible. And the research is clear they won't change. Your only power is awareness and action. Stay sharp, trust your instincts, and remember, not everyone has your best interests at heart. Some people only understand darkness. If this video opened your eyes, hit subscribe for more dark psychology content. Watch our video on bullying next,